The rap game has always been filled with highs, lows, competition, and controversy. But right now, it feels like the spotlight is on Drake in a way that few artists would ever want. After years of being at the top of the charts and dominating the streaming world, the Toronto rapper seems to be going through a rough patch, while Kendrick Lamar, his so-called competition, is being showered with praise. And while fans and critics alike are caught up in this narrative, one rapper isn't holding back when it comes to exposing what he sees as the blatant hypocrisy of the music industry. Boozy Badass. Boozy has always been outspoken, never afraid to call out what he perceives as the double standards that plague the industry, and his recent comments on the matter have thrown fuel onto an already blazing fire. In the eyes of many, Kendrick Lamar's recent rise to the top is a moment of validation for the artist and his intellectual, socially conscious style of rap. At the same time, Drake, once the uncontested king of rap, is being subjected to a series of public criticisms, which has made it seem as if he's no longer as invincible as he once was. It's no secret that Kendrick Lamar has always been held in high regard by critics for his intricate lyricism and social awareness. His albums aren't just albums, they're statements. Each project from Kendrick comes loaded with commentary on race, class, politics, and personal experiences that resonate deeply with listeners. His most recent work, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, earned him praise for pushing boundaries once again and continuing to challenge the norms in hip-hop. Kendrick has become a symbol of artistic integrity, and there's no denying that his rise on platforms like Spotify, where he recently surpassed Drake in streams, has only added to his mystique. Yet, with all of the praise Kendrick has received, the reality of the situation is that Drake, for all his accomplishments, is being treated like he's out of the game. Sure, his numbers are still massive. Sure, his fan base is still loyal. But it feels as if the culture has moved on. The music world has shifted, and Drake's once unmatched reign is being challenged from all sides. Some of this has to do with the way he's been received over the years. Drake's image has often been the subject of memes and jokes, especially regarding his tendency to make songs about heartbreak and his emotions. He's also been criticized for dipping into various genres like dancehall, pop, and even R&B, sometimes leaving his true hip-hop roots behind in pursuit of more mainstream success. But there's also the issue of his public persona. As time has gone on, Drake's image has often been questioned. There's the ongoing narrative that he's the soft rapper who wears his feelings on his sleeve, unable to deal with the harsh realities of street life or rap competition. Many fans point to his feud with Pusha T and the allegations about his ghostwriters as evidence that Drake isn't as tough as he might want people to believe. And as much as he tries to shrug off these criticisms, the image has stuck, feeding into a narrative that doesn't do him any favors when compared to someone like Kendrick Lamar, who has maintained a stoic and more reserved image throughout his career. That's where Boozy comes in. Boozy has been known for calling out the industry for its treatment of certain artists and the blatant contradictions that exist. He's made his opinion clear on social media, calling out the hypocrisy that surrounds the praise for Kendrick Lamar while Drake is being criticized and humiliated despite his unmatched success in the industry. According to Boozy, the music industry has a tendency to praise artists who are more conscious or intellectual, while leaving the artists who push the boundaries and make music that resonates with the streets to fight for their place at the table. For Boozy, the hypocrisy in the industry is undeniable. He believes that Kendrick is being showered with praise for staying authentic, while Drake, who has made undeniable contributions to rap and has been a mainstay in the industry for over a decade, gets a cold reception. Boozy believes that there's a double standard at play, where intellectual, socially aware rap is given preferential treatment, while more mainstream artists like Drake are treated like the outcasts despite the influence they've had on the genre. This is where the anger and frustration boil over for Boozy. Why is it that the culture seems to forget what Drake has done simply because his approach is different? Boozy's comments point to a wider problem in the music industry that has existed for years: the love-slash-hate relationship between the mainstream and the underground, between the conscious and the commercially successful. In this case, the industry's favoritism toward Kendrick is seen by some as a betrayal of what hip-hop culture has always been about. Hip-hop, at its core, has always been about self-expression, individuality, and speaking truth to power. But somewhere along the way, the art of making music that appeals to the masses, music that isn't always political or deep, has been seen as less valuable. It's as if the industry only rewards one kind of success, and it's the kind of success that follows a formula of deep thought, lyricism, and social commentary. Drake, on the other hand, has always been the person who has made music for the people. His approach is less about being seen as a lyrical genius and more about creating music that connects with his fans. And in a world where social media and streaming have changed the way people consume music, Drake's formula has worked like a charm. His ability to adapt and experiment with different genres, be it pop, R&B, dancehall, or even reggaeton, has allowed him to stay relevant and continually draw in new listeners. He's created songs that people want to listen to over and over again, songs that get played at parties, on the radio, and in clubs. And yet, when you look at the way the industry reacts to both artists, it seems like Drake is often overlooked or even disrespected in favor of Kendrick's more intellectual approach to rap. But what does all of this mean for the future of the hip-hop industry? Will this narrative continue to push Drake into a corner, forcing him to defend his place at the top? Or will it lead to a broader conversation about the very nature of success in rap music and whether it's okay for an artist to simply make music that feels good, without the expectation of being seen as a revolutionary or a social commentator? What's clear is that the industry's treatment of Drake is a reflection of the larger conversation happening in rap today. Artists like Kendrick Lamar are hailed as leaders because they take on the role of truth-tellers, the ones who speak on issues that matter in society. But there's also a value in making music that people want to vibe to. Music that doesn't always have to change the world, but can still leave a lasting impact. Drake has built his career on this approach, and his influence can be felt in countless songs across the radio today.